The cameras weren't supposed to be rolling. The production crew had wrapped for the night. But what happened in that hallway backstage at SmackDown last Friday is about to change everything you thought you knew about the power struggle happening behind closed doors in WWE. Paul Heyman, the Wiseman, the special counsel to the tribal chief, was caught in a screaming match with Adam Pearce that got so heated, so personal, so intense that security had to step in. And at the center of this explosion, two names that have everyone in the locker room choosing sides: Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. What was said in that corridor has sent shockwaves through the entire roster, and if you think you understand what's really happening here, you're dead wrong. This isn't about booking decisions or creative direction. This is about egos, control, and a backstage war that could tear the entire brand apart. Hit that like button right now because what I'm about to reveal will make you question everything you've seen on your screen for the past 6 months, and trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to understand why several top superstars are threatening to walk out. Let me paint you the picture of what actually went down, because the dirt sheets got it half right, but they missed the real story. Sources close to the situation, people who were actually there in that hallway, have told me exactly how this confrontation erupted, and it's so much worse than anyone reported. Paul Heyman had just finished a production meeting discussing Roman Reigns' upcoming program when he ran into Adam Pearce near the catering area. Now, you have to understand the tension that's been building for weeks. Heyman has been pushing hard, and I mean hard, to keep certain talent away from Roman's orbit. He sees them as threats, not to Roman's championship necessarily, but to the entire bloodline narrative that Heyman has carefully constructed over the past 4 years. And two names keep coming up in every conversation, every production meeting, every creative session: Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker is everything that terrifies the old guard. He's second-generation royalty, the son of Rick Steiner, the nephew of Scott Steiner, and he's got that freak athlete genetic lottery-winning combination that comes around once in a generation. The man is putting on 5-star matches with everyone they put in front of him, and the crowd reactions are off the charts. He's 26 years old and already moving with the confidence of a main eventer. Behind the scenes, there's talk, serious talk, that creative wants to strap the rocket to him. We're talking a potential Universal Championship run before WrestleMania season, maybe even a Mania main event within the next 2 years. And that's exactly what has Heyman losing sleep at night. Then you've got Bronson Reed on the other side of this equation. The Tsunami. 330 pounds of controlled destruction who moves like he weighs 200. Reed has been on an absolute tear, destroying everyone in his path with a level of brutality that has the audience on their feet. Those top rope splashes aren't just moves, they're career-threatening statements. Reed has that rare combination of size, agility, and genuine intimidation factor that makes him must-see television. The problem? He doesn't fit into anyone's narrative. He's a wrecking ball that creative doesn't know how to control, and that unpredictability makes him dangerous to anyone trying to maintain a carefully structured storyline. So here's where it gets explosive. Heyman apparently confronted Pearce about recent booking decisions that had both Breaker and Reed looking strong, too strong in Heyman's opinion, and he demanded to know why creative was building them up when Roman's story still had chapters to tell. But Pearce, who's been dealing with Heyman's backstage politicking for years, wasn't having it. According to multiple witnesses, Pearce told Heyman point-blank that the business doesn't revolve around one superstar, not anymore, and that WWE needs to build for the future while honoring the present. And that's when Heyman lost it. The Wiseman, always calculated, always 3 steps ahead, couldn't contain himself. He started listing everything he and Roman had done for the company: the rating spikes, the merchandise numbers, the mainstream attention. He accused Pearce of being short-sighted, of not understanding the bigger picture, of being willing to sacrifice a proven draw for unproven commodities. But Pearce fired right back, and this is where it gets really good. Pearce allegedly told Heyman that his job as a producer and creative team member is to think about what WWE looks like in 5 years, not just next month's pay-per-view. He said that holding back talent like Breaker and Reed to protect one person's spot isn't creative vision, it's creative cowardice. Now, before you hit that subscribe button, and please do because channels like ours depend on your support to bring you this kind of exclusive backstage information that the mainstream sites won't report, let me tell you why this argument represents something much bigger than two guys disagreeing about booking. This is about a fundamental philosophical divide in professional wrestling right now. On one side, you have the Heyman philosophy: build around proven stars, protect your top guys at all costs, create long-term narratives that the audience invests in over years. It's the philosophy that gave us the Bloodline saga, one of the greatest wrestling storylines of this generation. On the other side, you have the Pearce philosophy, or what many are calling the new Triple H era mindset: identify and elevate new talent quickly, let the cream rise to the top naturally, don't artificially hold people down to protect established stars. Both approaches have merit. Both have worked at different times in wrestling history, but they can't coexist peacefully, and that hallway confrontation proved it. Here's what makes this situation even more volatile. The superstars themselves are watching this play out, and they're taking sides. Several wrestlers who've been in the company for years, guys who've paid their dues and worked their way up through the system, they're Team Heyman all the way. They see Breaker as someone who got pushed too fast because of his last name, and they see Reed as a guy who's been given chance after chance despite previous releases and stops and starts in his career. These veterans believe in the old-school way of building stars slowly, making them earn every step up the ladder. But the younger generation? They're Team Pierce. They're hungry, they're tired of waiting, and they see the Heyman approach as gatekeeping that benefits a select few while everyone else treads water. This isn't just about Breaker and Reed anymore. This is about what kind of company WWE is going to be moving forward. The screaming match apparently escalated to the point where other producers and agents had to physically separate Heyman and Pierce. Can you imagine that scene? Paul Heyman, the advocate, the special counsel, the man who talks his way out of everything, so angry that he had to be pulled away from a confrontation. Witnesses said they'd never seen Heyman that heated, that out of character, that genuinely furious. And Pierce, usually the picture of professionalism, the authority figure who never breaks kayfabe, was right there matching that energy. This wasn't a worked shoot for the cameras. This was two powerful men in WWE having a genuine, no-holds-barred argument about the direction of the company. But here's the part that should concern every WWE fan, and this is why you need to stay tuned until the very end of this video. The fallout from this confrontation isn't contained to just these two men. There are reports, unconfirmed but coming from multiple reliable sources, that this argument has created a rift in the production meetings. Some writers and agents are refusing to work on certain storylines if they involve having to choose between the Heyman camp and the Pierce camp. Pitches are being shot down not because they're bad ideas, but because they don't align with one philosophy or the other. And the talent is getting frustrated because they're caught in the middle of what feels like a political war that has nothing to do with putting on the best show possible. Let's talk about Bron Breakker specifically for a moment, because his reaction to all of this tells you everything you need to know about the young man's character. Word is that Breakker went directly to both Heyman and Pierce after hearing about the confrontation and told them both the same thing: he's there to work, to get better, and to do whatever's asked of him. He doesn't want to be the center of backstage drama. He just wants to prove himself in the ring every single night. That kind of maturity from a 26-year-old is exactly why so many people believe he's the future of the company. He's got the look, the talent, the pedigree, and apparently the mindset to be a top guy for the next 15 years. But if Heyman succeeds in slowing down his push, we might never see Breakker reach his full potential during his physical prime. Bronson Reed's response was different but equally telling. Reed apparently hasn't addressed the situation directly with either man, but he's been working harder than ever in the ring, putting on increasingly physical matches, taking risks that make you hold your breath. It's like he's trying to prove through his actions that he belongs in any conversation about top talent. That splash from the top rope through the announce table 2 weeks ago? That wasn't just a spot. That was a statement. Reed is showing everyone that he's willing to put his body on the line in ways that other wrestlers won't, and that kind of commitment is hard to ignore, no matter what your booking philosophy might be. The real question now is what happens next, and this is where things get really interesting for those of us who follow the business side of wrestling. WWE is in a unique position right now. They've got their biggest star in Roman Reigns operating at the top of his game, drawing money, selling tickets, generating mainstream buzz. But they also have this incredibly talented younger generation ready to explode into superstardom. The smart move would be finding a way to elevate the new without diminishing the established. But that requires cooperation, compromise, and a unified creative vision. And based on what happened in that hallway, we're nowhere near that kind of unity. There's also the Triple H factor that nobody's talking about enough. Hunter is the head of creative now, and he's the one who ultimately has to navigate this minefield. He's got Heyman, his longtime friend and colleague, on one side advocating for protecting the top of the card. He's got Pierce, a trusted lieutenant who's proven himself as a solid hand backstage, on the other side pushing for youth movement. And Triple H himself has experience with both philosophies. He was the guy who held onto the main event spot longer than some thought he should during his in-ring career, but he's also the architect of NXT, a brand built entirely on developing and showcasing new talent. So which Triple H shows up when decisions need to be made about Breakker and Reed? The politician who understands star power and protecting your position? Or the talent developer who wants to see the best rise to the top regardless of politics? If you're enjoying this deep dive into what's really happening backstage and you want to support this channel so we can keep bringing you this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to build something special here at Ring Rumble, a place where real wrestling fans can get the real stories without the corporate filter. Your subscription means everything to us, and it helps ensure we can continue investigating and reporting on the stories that matter to you. The next few weeks are going to be absolutely critical. There are 2 major pay-per-views on the horizon, and the booking decisions made for both Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed will tell us everything we need to know about who won this backstage battle. If Breakker gets a meaningful program that elevates him toward the main event picture, we know Pierce's vision is winning out. If Reed continues his path of destruction without political interference, same story. But if both guys suddenly find themselves in mid-card programs that feel like they're treading water, if their momentum gets inexplicably cooled off, will know that Heyman's influence is still dominant backstage. And let's be real about something else that needs to be said. This situation is exactly why so many talented wrestlers have left WWE over the years. It's not always about money or creative freedom in the way people think. Sometimes it's about being caught in the crossfire of backstage politics that have nothing to do with your talent or work ethic. Imagine being Braun Breaker right now, putting on banger matches week after week, getting organic reactions from the crowd, doing everything right, but knowing that there's a powerful voice backstage actively working against your push because of storyline politics. Or imagine being Bronson Reed, finally getting your moment to shine after years of stops and starts, only to find out that you're the subject of heated arguments between producers who are using you as a pawn in their larger war. The truth is, professional wrestling has always been a weird mix of art and politics, of athletic performance and backstage maneuvering. But it feels like we're at a tipping point right now where the politics might actually be overshadowing the art, and that should concern everyone who loves this business. The best case scenario is that cooler heads prevail, that Heyman and Pearce find a way to work together, that compromises are made that benefit everyone. The worst case scenario? This rift widens, more people are forced to choose sides, and the product suffers because decisions are being made based on backstage allegiances rather than what's best for the show. So what's the bottom line here? Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce had a very real, very intense confrontation about the future of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and that confrontation exposed a much deeper divide about WWE's creative direction. This isn't going away anytime soon. The philosophical battle between protecting established stars and elevating new talent is as old as wrestling itself, but it's rarely been this public or this intense. As fans, all we can do is watch closely, support the talent we believe in, and hope that the people making decisions backstage remember that the ultimate goal is putting on the best show possible. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on this situation. Are you Team Heyman or Team Pearce? Do you think Breaker and Reed deserve their pushes, or should WWE focus more on protecting Roman's legacy? And don't forget to share this video because this story is developing fast, and everyone needs to know what's really happening behind the curtain.